What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. This is the most asked question on my channel. Between the YouTube comments, my Instagram DMs, Facebook comments randomly, I get asked daily, what do I prefer? The OnePlus Open or the Honor Magic V2? Well, it's simple. My favourite one is the Now, for those that have been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that I have already done multiple videos on both of these phones. I've even done the Versus video, I've done a camera comparison video. However, all of those were done with the V2 Chinese ROM versus the OnePlus Open, which is obviously global. Now, I have broken down the differences between the V2 Chinese ROM and the V2 global ROM, but I still keep getting asked which one's better. Well, in the next few minutes, I want to try and explain my reasoning as to why I believe both of these devices are the best. I will give you my ultimate favourite, but both are the best at what they do, which is a large, foldable format phone. So the first thing I want to talk about is the internals. Both have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Both are on Android 13 at the moment. However, both will get the Android 14 update in February. Both have large batteries. However, the V2 gets a 5000 mAh compared to the OnePlus's 4800 mAh. And both have their own proprietary skin over stock Android. Honor has Harmony OS. OnePlus has Oxygen OS. If I had to pick between the two softwares, Oxygen OS gets the nods, but Harmony OS has come a long way since the days of childlike animations and graphics. So internally and software-wise, the OnePlus Open gets the edge for me because of multitasking. I've said it over and over again, but the OnePlus Open has the open canvas they call it, and for me it's just a slightly easier way to multitask. Being able to have 3 apps open side by side on the same window, copying and pasting images or text or files or whatever you do, is just a bit more convenient than having 2 split and then 1 floating. Where the Honor Magic V2 comes in handy with its global ROM is it now doesn't have any sacrifices such as smartwatch connectivity, Android Auto, Honor Nearby Share now works seamlessly, Google Timeline. So it brings it on a par with all the features that the OnePlus Open has straight out the box. Now for me, there's not much between the two, but I would internals wise probably give the nod to the OnePlus Open. However, the battery life is better on the Honor Magic V2. Now before I talk about the design and dimensions and just overall usability and feel on a daily basis, I do want to touch on those cameras. Both have completely different setups. The OnePlus Open has a huge rear camera ring with 3x optical zoom lens that goes 6x hybrid, 50 megapixel main and 48 megapixel ultra wide. The Honor is a more conventional styled camera bump with a triple setup. However, it's capped at 2.5x optical zoom. And this is the one area in daylight photography that the OnePlus crushes the Honor. When it comes to main and ultra wide angles, I actually think these photos are totally comparable. I'd argue that portrait photos from the Honor are actually better than that of the OnePlus. Not all the time, but more often than not. But when it comes to the zoom lens, OnePlus are doing something really, really amazing. They're having flagship lenses on a foldable device. What Honor done was take their flagship Magic 5 Pro and lift the main and ultra wide, but just kind of neglected the zoom. And you can tell. In any image over 2.5x optical, the OnePlus just crushes it in terms of colour, sharpness, saturation, all the things that matter when you're zooming in to 10, 20, 50 times X. You're going to need sharpness. Now, the other area that OnePlus just annihilates Honor is low light. The sensors on the OnePlus on all rear lenses are bigger than the sensors on the Honor. So on every lens, whether it's nighttime videography or photography, the OnePlus just wins. It brings in more light. Don't get me wrong, neither of these phones are class-leading night modes at all, but in terms of foldable devices, and for the purpose of this comparison, the OnePlus takes nighttime video and photos. So software-wise, camera-wise, the OnePlus is pipping the Honor. Where things flip completely is when it comes to the design and build. You cannot deny, no matter how much you don't like Honor or you happen to love OnePlus, you cannot deny that what Honor have managed to create in this less than 1 centimeter thick device, yes, 9.9 millimeters, remember 5,000 milliamp hour battery, triple camera setup, 7.92 inch screen on the inside. Honor have done outstanding things. Both phones have the best creases in the market, which ultimately means that they have the least detectable creases, so big win to them. Both have amazing outer and inner screens, and both, in my opinion, have like the perfect form factor. The outer screen in the OnePlus is 6.3 inch diagonally, the Honor is 6.4 inch. The inner screen is 7.85 inch roughly on both. So for me, that's the perfect form factor, both folded and unfolded, unlike the Samsung Z Fold 5. And the actual designs of the phones are different as well. The V2 has more rounded edges, the OnePlus Open is squared off. It's all subjective. What do you prefer? It's entirely up to you. What I will say is, and I've said this at the start of the video and I'll say it throughout, the OnePlus Open and the Honor Magic V2 are basically like this, all the way in every category. Now, as far as features, both are packed. I talked about the nearby share and all the software stuff, but there's hardware that we haven't talked about yet, and it's stylus support. The OnePlus Open and the Honor Magic V2 are the only global foldable devices to support stylus on the outer and inner screen. So Samsung Knights, fuck off. I'm really fed up with Samsung and some Samsung commenters, so yeah, I'm not editing that part out. Now, one area that both phones let themselves down is wireless charging. Neither have it. The Open doesn't have it, I think, because the camera bump's way too big and gets in the way. And the V2 doesn't have it because they wanted to keep it so thin and light. And remember, the V2 is the thinnest and lightest foldable phone in the world. But when these phones are both retailing at £1,600, you kind of want wireless charging and every feature you can get included in that package. Now that actually nicely leads me on to price, another area where they are just basically tied. The Honor Magic V2 at RRP without any deals is £1,699 for the half terabyte version. The OnePlus Open is £1,599. However, I do not know, and hopefully none of you ever fall trap to this, anyone that paid full retail for any device. There are early bird sales, there are student discounts, normal discount codes you can search for on Google, vouchers, free gifts. Ultimately, you shouldn't be paying more than £1,300 for either device, and with that £1,300 you should get some form of free gift with that as well. Now at that price, it brings it in line with all the other normal candy bar flagships, and keeps these two basically level pegging. Now this video could have just been a 1 minute short, to be honest, because ultimately it all depends on which one you think looks better. Do you prefer the squared off edges on the OnePlus or the thinner, lighter and rounded edges of the V2? Because everything else, these are flagship phones. You're going to get by with the video and the photos. Okay, maybe not in low light if you've got the V2, but every other scenario, you're going to be able to multitask and be as productive as you possibly can be with a mobile phone. Cell phone, if you're in the US. So it all comes down to you. Now, of all the devices I've had, the OnePlus Open versus the Honor Magic V2 is the most popular phone video of my channel yet. And I've said already, the OnePlus Open and the V2 are the top 2 foldables ever made. But you're still wondering, what's my favourite? So after telling you all this and working out that with the V2 I've had 4 or 5 of them, and my SIM card for each time, when you add them all together, has been in the Honor Magic V2 twice as long as it was the OnePlus Open when I add up the amount of time I use that as my daily driver. I would have to say my favourite out of the two is the OnePlus Open. I slightly edge it because of the cameras. Everything else I can deal with on both phones. It's just the zoom. I love zoom. And the cameras overall, as mentioned, are slightly better on the OnePlus. So it takes the win. However, I don't have the OnePlus Open just now. I've got the Honor Magic V2 Global, and I love using my V2 Global. SIM cards in it. It's my daily. Well, between that and the OnePlus 12, to be fair. So hopefully this puts all the questions to bed about what my favourite is. Clip this out. Average Dad's favourite foldable device is the OnePlus Open. Hopefully it answers your questions about what the differences are between the phones, now that we've got a global V2. Ultimately, there ain't many differences. And hopefully, by the end of 2024, we are having a conversation that involves the OnePlus Open 2, the Honor Magic V3, the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4, and the Samsung Z Fold 6. Those are the 5 foldables coming in 2024 that I believe we'll be talking about all year. We'll be comparing them. Samsung know what they need to do. And with regards to Xiaomi and Vivo, if they can make them global, we've got a very, very good fight on our hands. So, if all those foldables interest you, I'll own and review every single one of them. So make sure you're subscribed. If you enjoyed this video, smash like. And until next time,